Hey everybody, it's Sean, the What's Up Dude. We're out here in Springfield, Illinois, and we're gonna see what we can find and explore a couple stops and show you some cool things. This is Sean, the What's Up Dude. This is Union Station for Springfield. I'm going to give you a shot of the city of Springfield and all the buildings and different areas you can visit. Right over there, we'll zoom in a little bit. Got a statue of Abraham Lincoln right here. All right, we are in the Abraham Lincoln Museum, and we are going to explore to see the historical features and memories of Abraham Lincoln. We are now entering Abraham's early years. Abraham Lincoln, this is his log cabin. It's a map of the places that Abraham Lincoln was at in his early years. This is a recreation of his log cabin. We'll walk through here and see what we can find. This is the Lincoln cabin. There's great folly to attempt to make anything out of his early life. The adult Lincoln told a campaign biographer in 1859, his story could be condensed into a single sentence: the short and simple annals of the poor. Abraham Lincoln began life on February 12, 1809 in a one-room, dirt-floored cabin near the Kentucky settlement of Hodgen. So we'll go inside and show you what cabin life was like. We have lanterns and lights. Here's Abraham Lincoln reading. He was really into reading books and staying educated. This is his dog, and this is the small bed. And this is what they have. Finding time alone in a crowded cabin. Lincoln's early years were spent in a crowded one-room cabin with the rest of his family. And he self-educated himself. But you can imagine, if you were surrounded with your family in a room like this, it'd be hard to have some quiet time. There's a painting on the wall. This is 2 silver Liberty half dollars. Restless with his lots, eager to sample life beyond the frontier, the teenage Lincoln built a flatboat, hired by a couple of travelers to ferry them to the Ohio River steamer. Lincoln was mesmerized by the twin silver half dollars he received in payment. I could scarcely believe my eyes as I picked up the money. He later recalled, I could scarcely credit that I was a poor boy, had earned $1 in less than a day. And as we walk in, we do have displays of history. This is the slave auction block. Before the Civil War, this is what it would look like. As I would not be a slave, so I would not be a master, this expresses my idea of democracy. Whatever differs from this to the extent of the difference is no democracy. Abraham Lincoln. free and slave states, so it was divided. There was many states that had slaves and some that did not. And this is when there was two sides of America. There was the South and the North. More depictions of slavery in America. African slavery has been a part of American culture since the early colonial period, and it has grown into an increasingly divisive political and social issue in the following 200 years. It became a moral crisis tied to the economy of the country, and at its most personal level, it was a demeaning and barbaric institution that destroyed families and lives. This is Abraham Lincoln and Mary Ann Todd, October 1840. If you come to the museum, they have a timeline of different events that talk about Abraham Lincoln's life and historical things that led to the Civil War. Some artifacts from his home and other artifacts of home life during this time. Knox College for Lincoln. This is what a debate would look like back then, the Lincoln-Douglas senatorial debates, Knox College, Galesburg, Illinois, October 7th, 1858. This is a depiction of Abraham Lincoln's law offices with his children running amok. It kind of reminds me of my child that would cause chaos. Lincoln gave his sons Willie and Tad a lot of freedom. They were known to be a little wild, according to his law pattern, William Herndon. These children would come to our office and take down books, empty buckets, coals, ashes, inkstands, gold pens, but put them in piles, then dance on the pile. These were two wild and crazy boys that my son would fit in with just well. We have some more artifacts from Abraham Lincoln's work life, his glasses and some of the writings that he had. Right here, this is a timeline of Abraham Lincoln's political lifetime. So the timeline starting out in the early 1830s all the way to the 1860s, where he wins the presidency. And this is a campaign recreation of 1860. Of course, they didn't have all this technology, but this is what it would have looked like if they showed the 1860 campaign in modern times with TVs, television, and different things that we use today. Lincoln's farewell address, Great Western Railroad Depot, Springfield, Illinois, February 11th, 1861. He left Springfield and headed for Washington, D.C. and would never return. And we are headed to the White House. Going to exit. The White House is right over there. This is Mary Lincoln, because the Lincolns were the first presidential couple born outside the original 13 states. Many Washington socialites resented them and scrutinized them relentlessly. This was especially hard for Mary. Her elite education did not shield her from judgment and rumors about her ignorance and vulgarity. And see, these are dresses in here that she would have worn. And to this day, the wives of the presidents are figures that are renowned for being well respected. And this is a depiction of art of the war that began, the Civil War. Fort Sumter, South Carolina, April 12th, 1861.
Yeah, I think the thing is the next meeting.
For the whole 4 years.
And on the walls there is illustrations of the presidency of Lincoln. And he had some opposition that painted him in a bad light. Although Abraham Lincoln did many great things and was a great president for ending slavery, the people that were against what he wanted to do were very cruel and unkind. This is a scene depicting the triumph and tragedy, February 5th, 1862. You can hear the sounds from behind Abraham Lincoln. They were celebrating his victory in the White House and things he did. Tragically, though, his son did pass away from illness. And so even though it was a great time of victory, it was a great loss for the president and his wife. This is a recreation of Mrs. Lincoln, all in black, remembering her lost child. If you have a child and you love them, you can imagine how they would feel. It was a time of great sorrow for her. And we're entering the White House kitchen. You can hear the sound of the workers in the White House.
Well, ever since young Mr. Willie died, she's been acting strange. Cried all the time.
And this is the leadership in the country at the time. They were having a meeting dealing with the map of the states that succeeded. And there is Abraham Lincoln right here discussing what they needed to do. The Emancipation Proclamation goes too far. This is a time where our country was more divided than ever before.
Signing that Emancipation Proclamation will dishonor our founding fathers and violate the Constitution that you swore to uphold. Sir, you are taking our property, and it will destroy the country.
No less than the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court has ruled that African slaves are chattel, with no more rights than a dog, or a butter churn, or a cotton field. The issue is settled!
This is art depicting the Civil War where we were divided. You had the Confederates and the Union who fought each other. We were once brothers, but because of different beliefs about slavery, it was separated, causing many lives to be lost and battles to be fought. This room is about a soldier's story on both sides. This is the war gallery of different generals and soldiers that were fighting during this time. You can go in here and click and learn more about each person on the wall, figure out what the art and pictures are all about. Also in the middle here, they display the timeline of the Civil War and the casualties and all the events that took place and the loss of life that happened because of this issue. This is a timeline of Abraham Lincoln from 1860 to 1865. At the beginning of July 1863, a nation held its breath as Robert E. Lee with 70,000 troops invaded the North, and Ulysses S. Grant tightened his siege around the key Confederate stronghold of Vicksburg, Mississippi. The course of the war hinged on these impending battles. If Lee succeeded, Northern war weariness would almost certainly hasten a negotiated settlement, firmly establish the Confederacy On the other hand, if Grant could take Vicksburg, it would mean uncontested Union control over the vital Mississippi River, effectively splitting the Confederacy in half. This is a room called A Soldier's Fate, and it remembers the lives that were lost. Some of the soldiers and generals on the wall depicting their stories and what they went through. And in the darkest hour, August 1864, summer of 1863 brought success to the Union, because with victories at Gettysburg, Vicksburg, and Chattanooga, things slowed down during the winter, and following spring and criticism of the war effort grew, abolitionists complained that Lincoln did not prosecute slavery hard enough, and the peace movement gathered momentum under the Democrats. In June of 1864, Grant advanced toward Richmond, Virginia, but was forced to settle in a siege around Petersburg. God grant victory. And this led to the re-election of Abraham Lincoln on November 8th, 1864, which brought about the 13th Amendment, the second inaugural address, the fall of Richmond, the play Dixie, and Lee surrenders, and Lincoln's final speech. So the war is over, and at Ford's Theater, there's a celebration for the war being over, and we'll head to Ford's Theater. At the time, Ford's Theater was only 25 cents. And this is unfortunately a tragic scene where Lee Harvey Oswald, right there, is entering the back door, and Abraham Lincoln is here, and his fate was sealed on this day. The president is dead. Abraham Lincoln dies this morning at 22 minutes after 7 o'clock. Lincoln's long trip home, a train carries Lincoln's body back to Springfield April 21st to May 3rd, 1865. The funeral train. These are all the stops that they would have gone to. Now we're entering the funeral procession of Abraham Lincoln, one of the greatest presidents of our lifetime, of our country's history. And here is the grave and tombstone of Abraham Lincoln. And in Springfield, Lincoln's tomb, you can visit this here and visit the site where he is laid to rest. Silver coffin plate. This is a plate that is on his tombstone. We are entering the Treasures Gallery, and we're going to see some artifacts. I'll just walk around and show you the different things that they have here. Some of these artifacts are either journals or items from the time. Some of these are paintings. This is a chair from Lincoln's home. we'll go inside the middle. These are letters written from Lincoln. And this is a William H. Johnson letter to Abraham Lincoln. And then Uncle Tom's Cabin. This is the national era. She hoped it would expose the barbarianism, the immorality of American slavery. And this is the Mr. Lincoln Theater, presented by Julia and Bill Cellini. And this is just a brief movie about Abraham Lincoln that you can watch, celebrating 20th anniversary of the museum. And this is the Illinois Gallery, presented by Motorola. Lincoln, a life and legacy that defined a nation. Lincoln on the Frontier, this is his early stages of life. Intro, Abraham Lincoln's life and legacy has long been dissected and written about in an effort to understand the man who was so profoundly shaped by history. So Lincoln on the Frontier, he used to have a simple life where he would break logs and live in a cabin. So these are some of the artifacts that you see here. And later he moved to Springfield. And these are some of the artifacts that they have during that time. And then he got into politics. So it's Lincoln the candidate. And this is a desk that he used for his first inaugurational address. So a lawyer. And this is some of his books and artifacts that he had from that time. So a lot of times Lincoln was very intelligent until he finally got into politics and became who we know. And then we have Lincoln the husband. This is about his married life. This is her dress right here. And this is some of the jewelry and items that he bought her. And that's actually her diamond ring. And he was a father. So we have some of his letters of condolences for the child that he lost. Lincoln in slavery. He was against slavery to the point of going to war to end it, to make sure people had the freedom that we have today. Lincoln the president. So Lincoln was known to be one of the greatest presidents of our time, of a nation. Not only freeing slavery, or ending slavery, but passing many laws that helped shape America. This is the dress that his wife wore on the second inauguration. Commander-in-Chief. This is the Commander-in-Chief right here with his top hat. And there's some tools and then a drum that were played. And this is an AI image of Abraham Lincoln. Show you what he would have looked like in motion. Some more artifacts. This is a gold reversible pencil belonging to Lincoln. Pulpit style Bible, that is a huge Bible he had. And his portfolio. And then you have Lincoln icon. So they created a lot of figures and statues that you're seeing today. In this museum, you can explore the life and legacy of Lincoln and learn all you want to learn about our fifth president, of the United States of America. And this is an exhibit called Ghost of the Library. It's a film that we're gonna watch. And here we do have some quotes from historical figures on the wall that'll pop up. That inspirational quotes or quotes of different historical importance. Now I can't film the actual movie, but I will let you know what I think when we're done. This is the Union Theater, and this is another film that we'll watch. I can't show you what it is, but I'll tell you about this one as well at the end. I highly recommend coming to this museum because there's 2 videos and 2 shows that you need to watch that you can't film, so I couldn't show it to you. But they use effects like holograms and lights and sounds and motion in the seats that make the story of Abraham Lincoln and his legacy come alive. So come on to Springfield and see the story of Abraham Lincoln for yourself. Also, if you're here and you're hungry, they do have a restaurant and some snacks that you can purchase. Right now it's not open, so I can't really show you anything except for the inside. You purchase your food and can sit down and relax. And lastly, welcome to the gift shop where you can buy Abraham Lincoln merchandise from the museum and other things showing Springfield, Illinois. Shirts, memorabilia, animals and stuffed animals for kids, and you can get a plushie of Abe himself. Highly recommend exploring this museum. It has been a great experience being here, and there's more to see in Springfield at a later time, and we'll have more videos on that as I explore and revisit Springfield on another day. And you can have souvenir pennies. And we're gonna purchase one now and have it molded. You can choose between 4 different styles of what you want. And then the old system of putting the coins in is a little more. It actually is a reader for your debit card. You crank the wheel. And once you're done, the printed penny will fall out. You'll have it for your collection. They also have collectible medallions. There's 4 that you can choose from. Please like, share, and subscribe so that I can explore new areas and go to more places in the